When there's no band on stage and he's playing to 80,000 people, there's like, how can you actually make that entertaining?
It shouldn't work. One man and an acoustic guitar and loop pedal for 3 hours. He does 3 hours on stage every night, but he has people in the palm of his hand. There's nobody like him in the world.
No. On that tour with Ed, you guys don't use tracks.
No click track, no backing tracks. He's always been of the mindset is everything is live. It makes our job hard, honestly.
It's so hard. So what was that first gig that made you want to be in the industry?
I think a lot of the guys who end up in audio in our industry are field musicians.
What does a system engineer do?
Working with your team to help fly the system, and then once it's in the sky, it's your job then to tune it and to optimize it for the engineer and for the audience. Favorite place we've ever done a show? We were invited by the King and Queen of Bhutan, so we played to about 400 people in a tiny little room.
Wow. If you work in live events, whether you're on tour, in production, or just trying to break in, Gigs is built for you. It's the largest community and career platform for the live event industry, where you can learn from people doing the work, connect with others, or hire and find your next job opportunity. And if you're liking the show, please take a second and just give us a 5-star review. It genuinely helps. And lastly, we just launched a brand new merch collection made for the road, just like this one. And this one, and many, many more. Go to gigs.live and shop our whole merch selection. It's really fun stuff that's built for people who are actually on the road. Everything you can find at gigs.live. Through bedside and virtual programs, Musicians on Call has delivered the healing power of music to over 1.2 million people in hospitals across the country. And now, MOC is looking for new volunteers to help share the joys of live music. Volunteer guides are the friendly faces who host the programs as volunteer musicians perform hopeful songs to put a smile on the faces of hospital patients, families, and caregivers. To learn more about becoming a Musicians on Call volunteer, visit www.musiciansoncall.org. Welcome to the Gigs Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Sands, founder and CEO of Gigs, the professional career platform and media company for the live event industry. Today, we have Adam Wells. Adam is an audio system engineer who has spent 9 years with Ed Sheeran, one of my faves, working his way from PA tech all the way to the top technical role on one of the most complex and distinctive stadium productions in the world. He grew up in South Wales and got his start at a production company called Sonolist. Adam has a vast array of experience, not only in concert touring, but in large-scale theater production, broadcast, festivals, and television. In addition to Ed Sheeran, he's worked with Bryan Adams, Tom Jones, Queen and Adam Lambert, Russell Brand, Tim Minchin, Strictly Come Dancing UK, and Tokyo Olympic Games, goodness, to name a few. Adam, welcome to the Gigs Podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I just want to say thank you for just your early support and belief in Gigs. It's been cool. Like, we had a phone call years ago. And you were with Ed, obviously, at that point. It was just so cool to not only hear about your career and like your whole story there, but then also like, yeah, your support in Gigs and our mission was everything. But I slowly realized, like, I just loved hearing the story. So it's cool that we get to actually share your story
100%.
here.
Like we met a long time ago online. We started talking, we had a phone call, and it does feel like a long time ago, but it was such an interesting concept, and I believed in everything about it from the beginning. So it's very cool to
thank you.
Come and hang.
I'm excited to get into this. So I'm excited to go to the Ed Sheeran show here in Nashville. Yeah. And I want to go back all the way to the beginning of how you got the start and now where you're at managing all of the audio systems, which again, I don't really understand. And I really want to get into like, what is that? How do you do it? Of one of the most complex shows. Yeah. So what was that first gig that made you want to be in the industry?
I grew up the drummer of bands. I grew up a musician.
Okay.
I think a lot of the guys who end up in audio in our industry are failed musicians. Sure. I was in a touring band in the UK. We were together for quite a while, and we just never really happened. We were playing a lot of the same venues, sleeping in a van, driving around the UK every summer, and it just never got anywhere. And I got to the point where I was done with it. Yeah. And I thought I left the band in a very rock and roll way, but it didn't. It just wasn't that case. And I'm kind of going traveling. And I left the UK. I did some traveling, and I realized I missed the music industry. And it took me a while to figure out what that looked like. But before I knew it, I was just looking after sound in pubs in the UK, and mixing, like just looking after open mic nights, and mixing some local bands, and it kind of just grew from there. And I just loved being behind the console and looking after the audio side of it.
Yeah.
And it gave me the same buzz that I had playing drums on stage.
Wow.
And that was kind of the light bulb moment where I was like, this is what I want to do.
Was there any formal training in that, or was it kind of learning
At
your
the time,
ears?
no.
Yeah.
But I then kind of did a lot of homework, and while I was traveling, realized that I needed to do some form of formal training, or at least try and have a bit of education in it. So I went back to the UK, went to college, got a degree, and then went straight into work full-time with a sound production company in Wales.
Aha.
And that was kind of the road into it, is I left college knowing full well I wasn't ready to go on the road yet. So
Why?
I had to start somewhere. I think I had a lot more real world experience to learn. And I think that's a big theme in our industry right now, is younger people coming in who still have a hell of a lot to learn, and starting at the right point and starting at the bottom of the ladder, and just keeping your head down and being patient and learning your trade is a big thing. And I just knew I wasn't quite ready to throw myself into touring.
Yeah.
So it was a start from the ground up, work at a production company on the floor. I ran the sound company there for about 5-6 years, and then made the big jump.
Okay. So what was, and I think that's really smart too, of recognizing that your 20s are literally for learning and not
100%.
knowing shit, and
100%.
then building up to finally be trusted in a leadership position. Yeah. So you're doing that. Where were you when you were working at the warehouse?
So I was in South Wales. In
okay.
a tiny town called Port Talbot, South Wales, a company called Sonolist.
Okay.
A guy called Rory Madden, who owns and manages the company, was Tina Turner's monitor engineer for 30 plus years.
What does that job look like? Like, what are you doing with that job?
So it's largely overseeing maintenance of equipment, overseeing prep, helping facilitate tours, get ready for shows, get ready for prep, and leave the warehouse. That's everything that's involved in that. All the pre-prep before the touring team arrive, all the understanding of the infrastructure. And I learned so much in my time there. It was invaluable. I was very, very lucky that the guy who ran the rigging department and kind of helped me with the sound department was also Mark Knopfler and Dire Straits production manager.
Oh, wow.
So I was surrounded, I didn't know it at the time when I started, but I was surrounded by some of the best engineers in the world at the time. All the people who had transitioned from touring to be on the road later in their careers. Well, we had like Clapton's Front House engineer come through. We'd have Mark Knopfler from Dire Straits engineer come through. We'd have the Who and AC/DC's engineers come through. So we had like some of the biggest talent in the world for me to sort of just glean and learn information from.
Wow. Well, and that's also like a lot of delayed gratification that we were doing. And I'm staying on this for a second just because a lot of, as you kind of mentioning, the younger engineers coming out of school or
100%.
just wanting to start right away don't realize how important that is and what you actually gathered. Even if you weren't getting something every day, it was also just the fact that you were around these greats and you weren't doing the fun creative part of like mixing the show or anything.
No.
You were getting it ready.
Yeah, 100%. And it was just the hard work. Sometimes it's sweeping warehouse floors, it's painting speakers, it's all the boring shit that nobody wants to do.
Yeah.
But at that time was fully invaluable to me, and I learned so much. When I left, I was ready to work.
Okay, talk to me about that.
Which, like, just rewinding a sec, like I think
Yeah.
the younger people in our industry who are in their 20s who do start touring, there is such thing as too much confidence, which we're all going to fuck up. We're all going to make mistakes, and they will make or break you.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of humility in you don't learning the success, you're learning the failures.
Oof.
I think there's a lot of humility in that, and if the wrong mistakes too early in your career can really, really be tough. So I think it's about understanding your place, having patience, and just keeping your head down and getting on with your job.
And when most of your hiring really depends on your reputation, mistakes are forgivable is like why you made the mistake and then how often. And
100%.
like, yeah. I mean, some of the things that I kind of assumed or thought when I went on the road was it's so embarrassing to think back of how I acted in certain situations. I was like, oh my gosh, like it's just so embarrassing
Totally.
until you learn it. But that I was really young. So that's amazing advice. So then you're like, all right, I'm ready to do this.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of perform and be, because you kind of go back into a performance role then.
100%.
Yeah.
But I was also like completely shitting myself.
Yeah.
Because you had the security of like lots of people in the industry have been in that same position. You had the security of a full-time job.
Yeah.
You're like, I was doing gigs, but I was doing small bits and pieces, or I'd do like a week tour and come back to the shop, or a 2-week tour and come back to the shop. But I was like, now I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So I quit the job. I had my first tour, which actually was a theatre production.
Okay.
And between the point of taking the tour and starting prep, the audio vendor had pulled out the tour and I'd lost 9 months' work.
No.
Immediately. Like my first gig had gone.
Oh my gosh. And that's after you quit your job.
And I was unemployed. So it was...
That's often. I mean, that happens.
It happens. And there was... It was political. It was financial. And it didn't feel... The vendor didn't feel comfortable. And they pulled the pin. And we went, we're not involved. You can still be involved direct for production.
Yeah.
But we don't advise it. And it was tough. It made for a really, really tough first year of work. But probably the hardest, without a doubt, the hardest I've ever worked in my life was the first 18 months I started working.
What did you do after you realized 9 months that you...
I picked up the phone and I called every single audio vendor in the UK. And over the 18-month, 2-year period, I probably worked for every single audio vendor in the UK.
Really?
Yeah. And
in what capacity?
In everything from like weekend festival stuff to one-off gigs to a couple of small little tours. It was no like massive big chunk stadium tour or arena tour. It was really little bitty things, as it kind of is when you start.
Yeah.
It was bits and pieces, but I was driving all across the UK. I was all over the place. I was barely home, but it was exhausting. But it was, I think, the best thing I've ever done because you've got amazing contacts at all of these companies. You build a name for yourself really quickly, and you learn so much about working with different companies and different infrastructures and you learn about yourself at the same time as well.
Wow. Yeah. It was building you. And so,
Yeah.
That's really interesting. And again, like that's why you have so much success right now is because what do? You don't wallow in it. It's
you head down.
You make it happen.
Yeah.
Because you are your own business at that point.
Exactly.
You took the leap.
100%.
So you had to make it work.
But it was also at a time where the audio industry is very different now. You have two major powerhouses in Solodec and Claire.
Yeah.
And they've kind of dominated a lot of the industry, and there's a lot of individual bespoke companies that are no longer bespoke companies because they're part of the brand. Back then, I'm going back almost 12, 15 years ago, that wasn't the case. You had Britannia Row with their own company, Capital Sound with their own company, SSE with their own company, and all these Wigwam with their own company, Major Tom, who are still a very bespoke company who have the Ed Sheeran contract. They're not part of a brand, but they're one of very few who are a bespoke niche company. Everyone else is kind of part of that brand. Do
you remember like an early mess up that you might have had in your career while you're doing that?
Tons.
Yeah.
Like Nikki, I still make mistakes now.
Yes.
Which
one do you think about now and you go, oh, but it really taught you a lot?
Really stupid things. And lots of people have made this mistake early on in their career. When you start in the audio, you tend to start stage end, you tend to start patching stages or running RF mics around or just looking after RF or monitoring or whatever it is, but it's usually stage end focused and you kind of go from there. I remember doing a show with Russell Brand.
Okay.
And it was an arena in the UK. And we'd done a sound check. Russell had left. I was rebatterying for the show. And part of the process, you take the batteries out and put fresh ones in before the start of the show. And the mic was on the stand. I thought we were good. And he goes, and there's no batteries in the mic.
No.
He walks on stage. And
no.
The spare is next to me, so I run out and grab the spare and give him the spare, and it's all good and we're good. But it's just a rookie mistake.
Yes.
And it's one of those things. You do things in a panic. You do things in a rush. You're not thinking.
Yeah.
It might be like my second show with Russell. Like, it was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And also you're sleep deprived potentially too. So like those easy mistakes that's interesting. I wonder how many people have actually.
I can guarantee you, it's a really, really stupid mistake to make, and one you really only make once, but it happens.
There it is. Yeah. And you learn in the failures.
Yeah,
yep. Okay. So you're working these gigs for the first 18 months, you're saying, of doing your own thing. Was it lonely? Because it like after one gig, you were like, shit, I got to get the next one. Like, what were you feeling in that freelance starting out time?
I was honestly mostly excited.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I was lonely at all. I was exhausted, but I was just excited to be out gigging and working for different people and learning. Like, I worked my ass off, and it's probably the hardest I've ever worked. But it was some of the most enjoyable stuff I've done. There's something to be taken from variation. While I love what we have with Ed, and it's incredible, and I think it's invaluable, and I'm very lucky to be where I am and have achieved what I've got. It's kind of, we do our best to replicate the same show every night.
Right.
Working in that situation where you're working with different people, and it's completely different artist every day. It can be anything from a corporate show to a festival to whatever. There's so much variation in that, and that I really enjoyed.
Now it's just how do we make it perfect? The exact same show every night. Yeah,
consistency is what we strive for every day.
Huh. Good and bad in both.
Yeah, 100%.
Tell me about how you landed on this crazy job.
So it's kind of all part of the same process. So as a process, it was almost a goal of mine because I knew Major Tom as the audio vendor. Have a very close relationship with Sonolist, the company I started working for. So I knew getting a foot in the door would be possible.
Yeah.
I knew it would be. I knew the people to call, and I did. And I kept calling the project manager at the time, who I just pissed him off because I kept calling. And he was like, I don't have anything for you. I don't have anything for you. And that was my thing. I was like, I'm just going to cold call everyone until I can find a gig.
Yep.
And I was like, if I piss people off, I don't really care because I just need to get in the door. So I kept calling him and calling him and calling him, and eventually just threw a gig at me. And it wasn't Ed Sheeran. We were doing like random little festivals. They do a lot of like the UFC shows in Europe. So we go and do a couple of those in different cities in Europe. And then it would be like a bunch of festival stuff. And then it would just be like 2 years or so, or 3 years or so, just bitty little gigs and bits and pieces here and there. Until I had a phone call from him, and it was 2017. And it was the start of the Divide tour with Ed. And there was a one-off show booked at the O2 in London, in between two legs of the tour, and they just need an extra pair of hands on it. And he's like, are you available? I was like, no, but I will be.
Yes.
And I had a gig booked in, and I was booked to do Glastonbury Festival, and I was like, do you know what? I need to get out of this because I see longevity in this gig.
Oof.
So I kind of went, I hate pulling out of shows, and this is another lesson for people is like, never pull out of a show if you said yes to something. And if you do, find a replacement before you pick up the phone. I can't do it, but I've got a guy who can.
There it is.
And which is what I did. I was like, look, I'm really sorry I can't do this, but I could give you somebody who's just as good who can. And it sometimes doesn't go down well, but it was a selfish move, and it was like, I've got to follow this.
You got to follow it. Did you just like feel like you just kind of had this intuition about that?
Yeah. Like honestly, and it was kind of the move to Major Tom was kind of all about that. So I was like, do this gig, nail it, see what happens. And I kind of came in, helped the system engineer at the time, who's now a very good friend of mine.
Cool. What does a system engineer do? Let's break it down.
Okay. System engineer is essentially responsible for the configuration, the design, the implementation, and we call it the optimization of a PA system. That's kind of the best way to describe it.
Got it.
And it's everything from the amount of speakers you use, where the speakers rig from, where they point, the angles at which they use, working with your team to help fly the system safely.
Oh, wow.
And then once it's in the sky, it's your job then to tune it and to optimize it for the engineer and for the audience.
Is it usually the lead, the crew chief? Where does this person usually fall?
It depends on the scale of the tour, I'd say. So usually on a stadium show, you would have a crew chief and a system engineer as two different roles.
Okay.
They would be two different people because they're both very, very busy jobs with very different needs and demands.
Got it.
And on a stadium show, you're usually a crew of, say, 12 audio guys. It's a lot of people to manage. And stage managers and production need somebody to go to who's going to be readily available.
Yeah. I gotcha.
So that's usually a crew chief is somebody to manage the department and manage the team on a tour of that scale.
Yeah.
A system engineer is somebody who's solely dedicated to the audio design and to the PA system. Because it's so involved.
Yeah.
When you get to that level, it's so busy.
These large places that with the house PA, it's so echoey. Like when I think of a football game, like it's echoey. But when you see a show and it's perfect everywhere with not that much lag, how the hell you're a part of engineering that?
Yeah. It's hard. I won't lie to you. Like stadiums are awful acoustic spaces.
Yeah.
They're not designed for it. They were never designed, especially as new. If you look at SoFi and you look at Allegiant.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
In Vegas, and you look at like Atlanta's another one, Mercedes-Benz is another one. They're indoor spaces. They're greenhouses. They're covered in glass. They sound awful.
Oh my gosh.
Acoustically, they sound horrendous. So once you put an amplified PA system in there, it just gets worse. Oh. So it's really hard to get those right. Those are the tricky ones. Like here in Nashville in this end, it's open air.
Yeah.
So it's the best case scenario for those environments.
But they're all going to closed.
Yeah,
like our new one's going to be
the new one's going to be closed,
roof,
and that's the route everyone's going down.
Yeah,
and I understand why for football they don't lend themselves like nice for concert touring.
Yeah,
they're awful. So it's really hard to get that balance right. It's really hard to like. Our in the round show is even worse because in the round is so compromised for audio.
Ooh, okay.
In the round is very, very difficult to get right for audio, even harder in stadiums.
What? Oh, because you have the whole 360 instead of just pushing out one way?
You have a whole 360 to cover. Coverage is the hardest thing to get right. The whole 360 to cover to make sure. Like our brief on the last tour was to make sure Ed is seen from every single seat in the house.
Wow.
Like he had always wanted to do it in the round stadium tour. for a long, long time. So when the opportunity came around after COVID, it kind of steamrolled very quickly.
It was epic.
When we were doing it, and it was. That's my career accolade, and that's something I'll remember forever. Is that like, it was. I'm biased, but I think it was the most beautifully engineered and amazingly produced in the round show possibly of all time. Like,
could not agree more. I saw it twice. I was like,
there were so many firsts ever done on that tour. First time a cable net system had ever been toured. Metallica now have a very similar design.
Really?
But we were the first to ever do it. There were so many advances in technology that happened to that tour. There were so many like brand new firsts.
Really?
We had a PA system on that tour that had never ever been heard before not even by the manufacturer. And we were doing a show on it in Dublin.
What?
Yeah. We took the first 200 speakers off a factory floor before anybody had ever heard them, and we put them in the round and we did a show on it in Ireland.
Wow. When do you get involved in the design and the production pre-tour? Like, when are you involved?
Kind of relatively early on.
Okay.
It's usually part of the process of when you start looking at a show design and the concept of how it looks and what the staging looks like and what the structure looks like and what it's usually like. Now, as much as I disagree with it and I hate it, the world is based on giant video screens.
Yeah.
Like, everybody wants the biggest video screen on the biggest tour.
True.
And we're one of those now. So, like, it's largely like you always fight battles and you always feel like you've got to fight the corner of putting the speakers in the right place and getting the speakers to the right height and getting the arrays in the right place and just trying to optimize it. And it unfortunately always feels a little compromised. But it's a conversation that everyone tries to have at the same time. So
everyone wants the best for their
Of course,
thing.
I get it. Everyone wants a good looking show and we want a good sounding show. So it's part of the process. But early on, you try to talk logistics of what speakers you're going to use, how heavy they're going to be is a huge thing for the rigging department structurally.
Yeah.
Like, we're a huge like stadium tour, like all the other big stadium tours with flip-flop steel structures and multiple steel teams. And there's over 150 people involved in the production. So it's a lot of people, it's a lot of stuff, it's a lot of trucks. And early on, you try to have those conversations to make sure you nip things in the bud early to stop, to kind of just fight any fires before they catch.
Dang. So you have kind of an idea of what's going in. And then how long is rehearsals for you guys?
That was tough.
Yeah.
So we finished the Mathematics Stadium tour in Dusseldorf in October of, what year are we? 2025. We finished it in October of 2025.
That was like a 3-year-long tour.
Yeah, we finished it October of 2025. 2 weeks later, we were prepping for a test build for this current tour.
No.
So we went home for 2 weeks after a 3-year tour.
Oh my gosh.
And we went straight back to the UK to turn around an in-the-round system, to turn it back into an end-on show, to then do a test build.
Oh my gosh.
To then put it straight in shipping containers and send it to New Zealand. And we opened the tour. The Loop tour opened in January this year in New Zealand.
Okay. You're also working for a man that never stops.
He doesn't. It's insane.
He has to play all the time.
He's addicted to it. It's a point where he loves being on stage and he just wants to play.
Yeah.
He'll play it, Nikki. He plays in pubs. He just turns up and busks. He was just busking in Ipswich Town in the UK.
Oh my gosh.
Like, he just plays everywhere. He will play to anyone, anywhere. He loves it. He loves it.
He loves it. That's why I think I admire him so much, because it's cool. I love watching people do the thing they're so good at. And like, you could just tell how much he loves it.
He absolutely adores it.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you don't get a break. Does he keep his same crew?
Yes. Well, the core team, honestly, has been there since day one.
Whoa.
So his manager, Stuart, who's a lovely human being and is his right-hand man, has been there forever. Our production manager has been there since he used to mix the show. He doesn't mix the show anymore, but he's been the production manager and was the sound engineer for a very long time. And the core team has been around him since day one. To the point of we have like 3 of his best friends who he went to high school with who were on the tour.
Wow. Okay, well, that's loyalty. That says so much about the top.
Like, surround yourself by people you love and you trust. And
that's why when you're in, you're in. That's interesting.
But it's just grown and grown. It started with way before my time, where it was 4 people.
Yeah.
To 150 people on a stadium tour, and the team's just grown and grown and grown.
That doesn't count steel and.
We're about 80 of production now.
Okay.
And then we're over 30. I think over 30 per steel team. Yeah.
It's so sick. okay, so you have really not taken a break. No. When do you? I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you enjoy that?
Nikki, it's tough. Honestly, it's especially as we were just in South America.
Oh my gosh,
South and Central America. So we finished New Zealand, Australia. We went home for about a month. We flew out to South Central America. We just did a month out there. Went home for a week, and we've just did our first show for the US run, and we're here till November. Then we go back to South America till December. This tour finishes mid-December.
So like it's the entire
year, and I'm not. But by no means am I complaining. I love what I do. It's a passion.
Yeah.
I'm very, very lucky to do what I do, what I love every day. Would I like to be home more? Absolutely, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I'm very, very grateful to be where I am. I don't take that for granted, and it's a team that keeps on rolling. It's not without its struggles, of course.
Of course.
And the stresses of being on the road that long are really hard.
Let's talk. I would love to get into that just a little bit.
For sure.
Again, still loving your job and grateful for it, but there's like a really tough side. I don't feel like I have as many people that are on for like truly a whole year at a time.
Insane. Nobody does it.
No. Yeah. I mean, I did, because again, Ed is I would say he's the biggest star in the world, in like that everyone in the entire world knows.
In terms of people playing stadiums,
yeah,
I don't think there's anybody, and you could probably put Taylor in the same bracket, who's been doing it consistently for as long as Ed has.
Yes.
He's been playing stadiums since 2015. Yeah.
Yeah, you get on a moving train and you do not stop. Jeez. All right. So what are some of those, when you're out for a year, how big is your suitcase? Like, how do you travel? How do you...
I mean, I'm of the mindset of I'll take for a year what I can take for 2 weeks. But I try and
that's crazy.
And we've all only got £50 on a flight, so it's got off it. Don't get me wrong, there's crew cases and there's stuff like your home comfort stuff that you kind of have, like people have those, like, for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky that at least this leg of the tour, and a lot of the guys, we have a lot of US guys on the tour, so they pop home whenever they can.
Got it.
This tour is kind of set up where like I'm in Vancouver, so the West Coast, I can kind of get home a little bit, and that gives the brain a reset.
Why even have a home? Do you have a home?
It's a good question. It's a very good question.
What is that like when you do go home?
Currently I'm out of my own space.
Okay.
Because it just didn't make sense.
No.
Whenever that, and Vancouver is an insanely expensive market. So,
yeah.
So I'll be buying a new home in Vancouver next year, which I'm pretty stoked about.
When you get a break?
Pretty stoked about.
Okay, that's a really big deal.
But currently it's just when you're on tour for, what are we, over 290 days this year, it's not worth it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's not worth it. And because, the other side of stadium touring is you're here, you got into Nashville on a Monday because it's stadium. And it's only one show, right, this weekend?
We do one show this weekend on Saturday.
But it's being built currently, right, at Nissan?
Yeah. So it's a 3-day steel build, 3-day structure build. Day 4 is production.
Okay.
Day 5 is show.
When do you get involved?
I will usually go to the venue on day 3 of the steel build.
Okay.
I'm there for maybe an hour or so. And it's really simple. Is I go in, I measure the room. So it means I've got my laser, and I go around and I just check the dimensions of the room as per the prediction I have planned. So I have used software, and we, in 3D space, model the venue.
Oh, wow.
And we predict what the sound system is going to do ahead of time.
That's sick.
So it basically means that if you get that right, if any system engineer gets that part right, so much of your work is done ahead of time.
Huh.
Like, inversely, if you get that wrong, you're going to have a horrible day. You're not going to have a good show.
Is that newer technology, or has that always been?
The concept has been there for a very long time. It's definitely improved in leaps and bounds by all manufacturers across the board, whether you're using L Acoustics, My Sound, whether you're using a D&B, no matter what it is, their prediction software is rapidly improving. But the concept has been there for a very long time. Got it.
So a lot of heavy importance on the prep.
It's all about the prep, and that's everything. That's
everything. Are you loading in? Are you physically doing stuff?
Yeah.
How is your communication with the production manager and with the audio team?
Our production manager, Chris Marsh, has been, like I said, been with us a very long time, and I have a good relationship with Chris, and we work well together. So it's anything we need. Our stage manager is again, I'm biased, but probably one of the best stage managers in the world. A guy called Matt Cayley, who's been around a long time, been with Ed for longer than I have.
Wow.
Very long time.
Yeah.
And is part of the family. And he makes that show happen. So anything you need, you go to Matt, you go to Chris, and you get it done. So there's good communication amongst the team. I'm very lucky, and we're very lucky to have an incredible audio team. of people who really care and really, really work their ass off. So
yeah.
And they know their job. So it doesn't need to be micromanaged. It doesn't need to be
huge.
People just get on with it. And I'm confident that like the guys can deliver what we need.
You're working with the best in the biz, so you can expect them to deliver.
Yeah.
At this point too of trusting them.
Yeah.
But with this kind of show, if you're doing an arena show, an American arena show, there's not much difference. And like, except if we I remember like going to the Saddle Dome, I was like, oh, that was a tough load and like what it could hold and all that. But like, there's not much difference in most American
especially in
stadiums.
the new arenas.
Yes.
They're a blueprint. So they're very, very similar.
But you're going to stadiums that are not built for music and you're going around the entire world, which is all built so unbelievably differently. Yeah. So many different cultures and a lot of different types of ways that people work. Yeah. And you just came from South America, which I've heard is just a whole nother
It's a whole
ball
different
game.
world. It's a whole different world.
Yeah. What's your most favorite continent or country to tour in?
I've got two.
Okay.
So my favorite country to ever touring and ever visit is Japan.
That's what everyone says.
It's Japan.
Japan or Australia?
It's Japan. Japan is amazing.
Yeah.
I lived in Japan for over 4 months.
Oh, cool.
When I did the Olympics out there, I moved over and I lived there for almost 5 months. And it was amazing. It was the first place I've had a full culture shock. I love the food. I love the culture. The people are amazing. I fell in love with Japan. To the point I started looking at houses. I'm like, maybe I'll just move to Japan.
Hello. That's cool.
So every time I go back to Tokyo or Osaka or Kyoto or wherever it is, like I just love it. And I snowboard a lot, so I escaped to the mountains.
Gosh, yeah.
So we took breaks. I'm like, see ya. And me and like 3 buddies went off to the mountains and we lived in the Japanese mountains for a week. It was amazing.
When are you going back to Asia for this tour?
We were there not that long ago.
Okay.
We've been there multiple times in the last couple of years, so I don't know when we're going back next.
Got it. Okay.
My favorite place we've ever done a show, a place called Bhutan.
Is that a country?
It's a country, it's a kingdom.
Okay.
It's called the Kingdom of Bhutan, and it's sandwiched, I'm probably going to get this wrong on the map, but above China and sort of below Bangladesh.
Okay.
It's kind of right in there. It's a tiny little kingdom with nobody tours there. Nobody does shows there. We were invited by the king and queen of Bhutan.
Oh, yeah.
As you do. Ed was invited to do a show. We did 2 shows. One was to the king and his invited guests, so we played to about 400 people in a tiny little room.
Ooh.
Which when we turned up, it was a building site, and we were like, what is going on? And within 24 hours, this team of people had turned this into hand-painted murals all over the walls, stained glass windows. It was just this beautiful thing that was made by hand in 24 hours. It was incredible.
Oh, my gosh.
And then we played a stadium in Bhutan, but they'd never seen a production. They've never seen speakers. They've never seen lights. They've never seen a video ball. They've never seen a mixing console. To the point of you had like Mojo barrier with the footplate. No, they were stood a meter off the barrier because nobody thought they could stand on the footplate. They'd never seen barrier before.
Oh my gosh.
It was just incredible to be in that world where like these people just don't see this.
Oh.
It was very, very cool.
Yeah, were they in just awe?
It was just blown away. Like just people gobsmacked and people coming up to you, shaking your hands and saying thank you so much. And they were the nicest people in the world.
Wow.
They're the most polite, nicest nation in the world. I'm just very grateful for you to be there.
And that we don't even really know that exists.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And you would never, ever, ever get to go there on tour.
Right. And the infrastructure was built for you guys too. Like that's what's insane. Crazy.
And so much stuff was brought in from India. And it was the start of this is the other thing with Ed, is he wants to take his show to different places.
So special.
So we did a 6-week tour of India.
Wow.
Straight after Bhutan, we went into 6 weeks in India in places, again, people would never go.
Well, and that's like his new album is really inspired by India.
Yeah, he wrote a lot of that in Goa. He took a little break and he went to Goa and he sat there and he finished off this album. So a lot of it is very Indian inspired.
Yes, I really like this one. Yeah. That's super cool. Did you get a break when he took a break?
We did.
That's great.
A small one.
So he just needs to go write some music.
But the thing is, Nikki, he's always writing music. Yeah. He doesn't. If he's not on stage, he's in the studio. He's got a studio on the road. He's recording on the road. He's always writing music.
His wife is an angel.
So there's always his wife is an angel.
Has to be.
His wife and his kids are amazing.
Wow.
But he's always got an album ready to go.
Wow.
There's always a new album ready to go.
True. Yeah. Gosh. Can we talk about the Olympics?
Yes.
What year was that?
It should have been in 2020.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
It should have been. It was the COVID Olympics. It should have happened in 2020.
Oh my gosh.
It happened in 2021. But it happened in 2021 with no spectators.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Contractually, we still had to put in every single PA system to every single venue, even though nobody came.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, good for the vendors. Okay.
Yeah. I would do what I was told. I was like, okay, this seems like a pointless job, but
that's fun. A pointless job. But they got you. So were you there already in? Oh no, because it was in the summer of 2020.
It was in the summer of
It was supposed to be summer.
It was the COVID Olympics, so we had to go over and we had to quarantine and we had to COVID test every day. And it gosh. That was probably one of the most toughest things in terms of work things I've ever had to go through, because it was 2 weeks of not leaving your hotel room. Oh. Literally couldn't leave your hotel room.
And you're in a brand new country.
In Japan. But there was all the guys who flew out, it was quite funny, like all the guys who flew out together kind of were in the same situation. So while you were banned from leaving your hotel room, you'd open your door and you'd all stand there and like, you just have a beer and you stand in your doorway and you just all talk to each other in the corridor. The highlight of the day was there was like a dentist across the road in the balcony. So you just go there, have a beer on the balcony and watch someone's root canal.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my gosh, that's your entertainment.
It was amazing.
Did you get good like takeout at least? Like, could you get DoorDash?
We could order, we could. So there was a little, we had our own runner, I guess. And she would go out and get you anything you wanted. You text her and she'd bring you things.
That's great.
Or you had like the Japanese government issued food, which I shit you not was bread and water.
No.
It was awful. It was like cold noodles. The breakfast was like bread and water.
Yeah, like the one place you don't really want to be in a global pandemic is not your home.
Not your home.
Like being somewhere else alone. So this is 2021.
Yeah, I was very grateful. The caveat is we were all grateful to be back working.
That's true. What did you do in 2020 when you really stopped?
That was tough.
You don't like a break.
I don't like. I'm not used to a break.
You have a good gig, man.
I'm not used to a break. So we kind of, I had a whole year of work planned, and it all fell apart. But it happened. So we finished the Divide tour in 2019.
Okay.
Divide tour was done in 2019. Ed was taking a natural break at that time anyway. So he was breaking 2019. He was always kind of planning on coming back around 2020. Mm-hmm. Then COVID happened, and it just it all went to the wall. And nobody knew what was going to happen. So we all went like, my entire year of work disappeared.
Yeah.
So I was kind of sat down for a minute. I was like, well, this will last a couple of weeks.
Right.
This will last a couple of months.
Yeah.
And 6, 8, 10 months later, we're all still not working. And money was rapidly disappearing.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, I'm going to have to do something. So I went to work on bars.
On Mars?
On bars. On bars. I wish I would have been on Mars.
I got out of Earth.
Yeah, it would have been a good time to get out of Earth.
It's true.
No, I just went to work on bars in the UK.
Yeah. But I think everyone had to swallow their pride a little bit that year.
100%. Yeah. It was different. It was very different.
I was nannying. I was like, really? What am I going to do? Yeah, I was supposed to go on a world tour for the first time. And then, I was like, well, how do I make Venmo money? Like, what the hell? Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so
it went from like working on bars to like COVID gigs would happen. So we'd go and do like socially separated gigs, or you'd go and do like everything. You'd go and do like these comedy shows, but people would stream in from their sofas. So instead of people, we had televisions, and they were all streaming from their televisions. But it was coming back from that gig that I was driving back with the video director for Ed at the time, a good friend of mine, and he said, you need to come to the office at Major Tom and we need to show you something. And I went in and saw the production manager, and he like rolled a scroll of A1 out, and it was the designs for the mathematics tour.
Wow.
And I just said, holy shit, you're crazy.
Because this was the In the Round.
Because this was the In the Round show. And I just looked at it and I went, are you out of your mind?
Oh my gosh.
This is impossible. Wow. Everyone said this isn't possible. It's just like, this is crazy.
Huh.
But this is, at that point, these designs had been happening. I wasn't the system engineer at the time. A good friend of mine was, and all these conversations were kind of happening. And then I was brought in. It was like, this is what we're dealing with. And it was like, shit, okay. Mm-hmm. But before we knew it, let's go. But it was like full steam ahead of ordering everything. Everything for that show was brand new, brand new. So we used the COVID pandemic to, you wouldn't have delivered that show in that time scale if you didn't have a pandemic.
That's kind of
because all the manufacturers weren't working.
Wow.
So you had like the best in the business sat at home while we were building a stadium show.
Whoa.
But everything was happening brand new. Every bit of cable was brand new. Every bit of infrastructure was brand new. Everything, when I say everything, I mean every single element of that show was brand new.
Why was anyone else doing In the Round in stadiums?
I mean, the people have definitely done it, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, U2, the 360 store for U2 still out there as like one of the first to do it very, very well.
Yes.
And Ed always referenced that of like, I want to be the modern version of that.
Cool.
I want to do that. I want people to remember this like they remember that tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think we achieved that, honestly. Like to do I'll never forget the feeling of doing the first show at Croke Park in Ireland.
Oh.
And just the feeling after that of like the guys worked their ass off on it, and the design, just everything about it was just, it's a moment that'll live with you forever.
Well, and the structure of it too is so memorable.
Incredible.
I'll never forget. It was, it was so
amazing.
well done.
It was a beautiful show.
Wow.
I don't think again, I'm biased, but
Yeah.
elegant is the word I'd use.
Yeah. Okay. So you're brought in, you at that point weren't systems engineer. But I know that they were asking you to take a job that you said no to a few times. How did that happen?
I will say I'm not the first person to say no to a job that's been offered to them on that top.
Oh, wow.
Purely out of like, I think for me, it was simply like not feeling like I was ready for that.
Okay.
It was a belief I didn't have in myself, but it was a belief the production manager had in me. And we finished the first year of the mathematics tour. It was 2022, and a good friend of mine, Charlie, who was the previous system engineer, and he had been for 10 years with Ed. He'd been there forever. He decided he was done touring and he was going to be home and he was starting a family, and it was just that time to do that, which comes for everyone. It's definitely a time that happens for everyone. So, and he told me kind of before he told anyone else, he was like, I'm leaving the tour. Wow. And I was like, shit, okay. Who's replacing you? And he's like, I don't know. But he's like, I'm about to tell the production manager, I'm about to tell Chris, and I thought I'd tell you, kind of let you know ahead of time. I was like, mate, I wish you all the best. I'm sad because I'm losing a friend. We worked together a long time. And I remember the day, and Chris came down from the office and said, we need to go for a beer tonight. And we left the warehouse. We went for a beer, and it was me, the stage manager, and the production manager. And he said, so you're doing it? I said, doing what? And he said, Charlie's job. I was like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, you're doing it. I was like, Chris, I'm not. I was like, you need to find someone else. And this went on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
Why was it a no for you?
I thought the tour required somebody that had stadium system tech chops, we'd call them. It's like somebody who has that balls and that experience, who's like, I've been a system engineer on other tours in the past, and I had done before that. I just worked for Ed for long enough at that point in different roles where it was almost a distant memory, and I hadn't done it in a long time. Okay. And I'd done it at a much smaller level at theatres and arenas. I'd never system tech a stadium tour, and I'd definitely never done it in the round. So I was very nervous about it, and I didn't think I was the right person.
Whoa.
So I kind of said, I think you need to go away and find the right person for the tour, which to be fair, they did. And I suggested a few people, and everyone kind of went away, and different people were thought about, and Chris still came back and went, you're doing it.
Wow.
And I think after the third, fourth time of him saying it, I was like, okay, I'll do it. But on one caveat.
Yeah.
I was like, if this goes wrong, it's your fault, not mine.
Hey. Yeah, this is your decision,
I was like,
bro.
if you're doing this, I was like, until we get this right, I was like, this is not me.
Wow.
He's like, fine, I'll take that.
Okay.
And it was honestly it was a beast of a show. It was a big thing to get your head around, but it was the audio design on that was so well implemented that it looks way more, and it is very complex, and it was very complicated, but it looks way more than it actually. If you're inclined and you understand the role, you can get your head around it pretty quickly.
And that's also probably why you take such pride in it too, because it was like you were jumping off a cliff.
It was a free fall. It was absolute free fall.
Yeah,
and it was like straight in. We were in Australia. Was the start of the leg. It was 2023. And the third show in was MCG, which is the biggest show we've ever played. We to 120,000 people, and we did that for 2 nights.
220,000?
Almost 230 over 2 nights.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, over a quarter
That's in Australia?
Yeah, over a 250,000 people in 2 nights.
What sport do they usually play in there?
That's cricket.
Cricket?
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. So big.
It's huge. The stadiums in Australia are.
Well, and then it's in the round, so you can fit so many people in that.
So many people in that.
Yeah, I think that
the floor is huge. The floor is huge. I'll have to show you some photos, but that show will live with me forever.
You, with the Nashville, I think broke the record when you guys came through of most attended.
That show broke the attendance record for a concert at almost every stadium we played on that leg.
Yep.
Because of how the logistics of it, how it all worked. And it was just maximized capacity for getting people in the room.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very cool to be like, we've broken it again.
Wow.
It's just 90,000 people every night. It was crazy.
That's worth the crazy hours and the crazy
it's
job.
It's still like numb to me, but you normalize it.
Yeah. Just being the best in the world. Yeah.
You just normalize it. No.
It's crazy.
You just normalize that many people. And it's just crazy.
Right.
You look around, you're like, yeah, it's huge. And that's terrifying. And that terrifying moment before a show never really leaves you.
Wow.
But you normalize working in stadiums and it's...
For that many people.
Yeah.
And
it's
like,
crazy.
I was just...
You shouldn't because it's fucked up. It's weird.
It's insane.
Yeah.
That has never happened in human history. Like that's the other, like not that many people being together all at once. I was telling the team, I'm like, I've always been a big Ed Sheeran fan, musically and like songwriter wise, but when you see him live, it really is a whole different, because he's using the loop pedal, but when there's no band on stage and he's playing to 80,000 people, there's crazy. Like, how can you actually make that entertaining? And
it shouldn't work.
Yeah.
If you look at it on paper and you go, it's one man and an acoustic guitar and loop pedal. Yeah. It should never work in the stadiums. Yeah. It shouldn't, because it's just for 3 hours. He does 3 hours on stage every night. Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
But he has people in the palm of his hand. He's an there's nobody like him in the world. No. He's one of a kind for sure.
And that's why you can't stop.
Yeah.
That's why you can't stop. You're working with one of the world's best.
He's honestly, I'm very, very lucky. And it blows me away to the point of like a huge part of this show. I won't spoil all the secrets.
Okay.
But we have a B stage on this show, and he's in the middle of the room, and he's 40 meters away from a big hangar PA, and it's horrible. And there's nothing to help him out there apart from his in-ears. He's like 200 feet away from a PA system.
Oh my gosh.
He's 200 milliseconds away from PA system. It's horrible, horrible place to be on your own, very isolated. The top of before the very first show, all the guitar techs and the backline techs stood on stage and went, I can't do this. I don't know how anyone can do this, because it's all about timing for him. He hits the boom on his guitar and he's got to get the timing right in the loop pedal for anything to work. And if that's wrong, the whole song's done. So
basically, being that close to a whole PA system, he could potentially be hearing that instead of
just hearing everything come back at you so late. Oh. It's like everything you're doing is coming back at you 200 milliseconds late.
Oh, gosh.
It's awful.
But because he's talented.
Everybody was like, this isn't going to work. And he just turns up the first show and just nails it.
Wow.
And I was like,
oh my God.
It's insane.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it's all about placement and size. And because I'm wearing a t-shirt, I went to Stapleton show at Nissan, and it was so sick. But like he's got some upbeat, but a lot of it's the slow and like very emotional. For sure. So like he would do great in a small room, obviously, but to be able to have that intimacy at a stadium was I was like having a moment. I was like, I can't wait to ask questions about the audio of this, because you have the stage over here and the audio PA, but then you have extra over here. When you have these seats all the way so far away from stage and you have the 300 levels, how do you not have echo?
It kind of depends where you are. The people play a huge factor. So an empty stadium is like sounds totally different to a full stadium.
Got it.
And you kind of rely on that a lot in our role. We listen to when I'm finished tuning the PA, me and the engineer will walk, and we listen to usually playback from the show. So we record every show, and it's the best tool any audio engineer has in their toolbox is playback from the previous show. We record every show, we track every show, so we can listen to last night's show. If we have any issues, something went wrong, we're like, cool, that happened there. But it also like allows us to reference the show before, to listen to it and be like, and we pick, usually it's the same couple of songs, we listen to the same couple of songs, we're listening to the same things. And we walk around, we're like, it's good, but I hope it cleans up. And you kind of go like, fingers crossed. Some rooms change, some rooms get worse, some rooms get significantly better. Thankfully, like Nissan's an outdoor stadium.
Okay, good.
So it only gets better when it was filled with people. Glendale was tough because we had the roof on. The roof on stadiums are really, really hard.
Wow.
Yeah, they're just cavernous spaces that there's nowhere for. A big thing is like for sound to travel. Okay. If the air pressure can move and if the sound can physically move and not get constructed by anything and not bounce back off anything, then you're usually off to a good show if you've done it right.
Does weather have anything to do with sound?
100%.
What does that even mean? It's humid. It's humid as hell here.
Humidity, temperature, even elevation, all those things play a huge factor into... Essentially, it's all about the speed of sound. It's all about the speed of sound.
Whoa.
We're getting boring now. We're getting geeky.
No, I'm in, man. Sorry if you don't want to talk about this. Okay, so like, and then we'll move on. But like humidity, does that make sound travel a little bit slower?
Yeah, so it changes speed over humidity and temperature. So, and that changes throughout the show. So we say normal air pressure, sound travels at about 340 per second. So it's kind of like you get used to those working in those environments. And when it changes, especially during the day, you have to adapt. So there's things like air compensation is a big thing, and atmospheric correction is a big thing. So we adjust for that throughout the course of the day.
So openers that are playing usually when the sun's still up is slightly different than how it's going to sound when the sun goes down.
I mean, the US, we'll find it as we go through this run because humidity changes a lot here. Europe is a little bit different. Generally it stays pretty consistent.
Yeah.
But we've definitely played shows where we've done a sound check the day before at a very different time of day, and we've come back to do our show in the evening, totally different PA.
That's so wild. And no one that's just a concert goer thinks about that.
No, of course.
But what is something for your role? Like what could go wrong for a front of house engineer or an audio tech is very different from what could go wrong for you as a systems engineer. What are some of those things that could blow up that are SOS?
That kind of, I mean, in the audio world, like the problems are fairly consistent. I mean, the problems in audio from a show perspective are kind of the same problems in video. We could have power problems. Technology can fail.
Okay.
That's a big thing. And it happens. It's part of it. As much as we pretend like we want a perfect show, nobody wants things to ever go wrong.
Yeah.
But it happens. Like you're telling me like people have never done a stadium show and the generator's failed. Like it happens. It shouldn't and nobody wants it to, but it happens. And we're not paid I think we're paid the money we're paid to fight fires and fix things when they go wrong.
Yeah.
Nobody's paid to have a good show and not do anything.
Yeah.
So like it's about how you deal with those stressful situations. A lot of my job can be dealing with complaints of people thinking the show doesn't sound good in a certain spot. And trying to fight fire for promoters and venues and production coming and saying, can you go and have a listen to it because there's been complaints? And those are like, nobody wants that. We're very lucky in the sense that like, we don't get that too often.
Yeah.
I'm very, very lucky in the sense that people come to the show and they generally leave happy.
Yeah.
And people know the words to his songs. So you go, my key thing is I'll walk the room, and if I'm at the top level of a stadium, I look around. And if people are singing and people are dancing, we're good.
True.
Yeah.
If it didn't sound good.
If somebody's singing the words to his songs, they can hear him.
Oh, that's
cool.
And
that's my click. I'm like, okay, we're good.
And if they're dancing, they're hearing it.
They're happy.
You're not just dancing for lights. You're dancing for the sound. That's
nobody goes home singing the light snake.
Yeah. Sorry, lighting designers. Sorry, LDs. That's really interesting. And in so many of these episodes, I'm like, just say yes to all the opportunity, even if you don't feel totally ready for it. Yeah. But I think that there comes a totally different level of complexity when it comes to something like this. Because if you had started that before you were actually ready or had the proper training, you really could have hurt your reputation.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And not just my reputation either, the show's reputation.
Right,
and that was the thing I was most concerned about. I was like, I just think Ed and the show and the production deserves somebody who can just get in and nail this. And to be fair, I knew I was ready for it. I was just terrified by it.
Scary.
And I knew it wasn't. Now I look back and I'm like, best decision I've ever made. I can't believe I said no to that because I don't take it for granted. I'm very, very blessed and lucky to be where I am. I'm grateful to be given the opportunity every single day.
Yep.
And I have to say thank you to my production manager for making that call.
No.
Because he saw it and he was like, you've got this. It's fine. Yeah.
That's really important. What is your favorite part of you're going out for a whole year? Maybe if you have a couple things that you love the most of tour in general for you, because again, you're not getting this is pop. You're not getting the break.
Yeah.
You're seeing so many different places, but you have to still sleep. You are doing a really cool job. The show is great. Like what parts of this do you love the most that keep you in it?
A huge part of it for me is not just the show. The show is a huge part of it, and delivering the show and pulling off a big stadium show is a huge part of it, and walking away with a happy engineer and me being happy how the show sounded is a huge thing. And that's where I know like we've done the job well. But a huge part of it for me is the design side of it, is like the earliest concepts of putting a show together. Like that's the stuff that I actually really love, is just like the early design phases, whether it's like rack building, infrastructure, whether it's like system design, speaker deployment, like all of that stuff I actually geek out on. I really like. So it's it's bringing something from like concept into reality, into tour. that like I've had the benefit of being able to do, and I absolutely adore it. And like taking something from concept to deployment is something I really enjoy.
Yeah. You just get to do it over and over.
Yeah.
That is very cool. So when you were a kid, did you always knew you were going to be in this because you were a drummer and you wanted to be
I always wanted to work in music. It was like the only thing I wanted to do. It was either that or try and be a pro hockey player, which never happened.
Okay, so hockey. You were doing hockey in the UK, which is like so niche.
Nobody does that.
No one. Is that what led you move to Canada?
I live in Vancouver, yeah.
Okay, for hockey?
So, yes and no. I grew up playing hockey in the UK, which is a minority sport. So, played at a level in the UK, and I just loved the game. And just the two things I did like every day was watch hockey, play hockey, and go to band practice. And that was my life growing up. And my brother's life, that we all did the same thing. Two older brothers, we all played hockey. My dad was my first hockey coach. It was like a whole family thing.
No.
And at 19, when I quit my band, I moved to Canada. I was like, I'm taking my hockey gear. We're going to see what happens. And I took my hockey gear and I moved and tried out for a couple of teams, played some teams, and it was never going to happen. I just wasn't good enough. I moved to Canada and kids play hockey at 3 years old.
So true.
It's just not a thing.
Kids are like, people are trying to give birth at certain times of the year so that their kids could be like really good hockey. Canada's no joke.
Seriously.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay. But now, so then why didn't you go back to Wales?
I did eventually. My visa ran out and I went back to Wales, then I went to school.
That's when that happened. Okay.
Yeah,
got it.
I did. But I when hockey was like a no-go, we played at B League. I still played hockey, played like B Leagues, and we had some good time playing the men's league.
Yeah.
And I snowboarded for like a couple of years and just hung out in the mountains and kind of took a break from the music, from everything, because I was like burned out from playing in a band, and that was when I missed it. That was like, I love my life with zero responsibilities and no money, I guess, but it was time to get back into music.
When you get to the level that you're at, are most people on that tour with Ed musicians?
I wouldn't say most.
Okay.
I wouldn't say most. There's a lot. There's a lot of it. Like the backline guys definitely are.
For sure.
The guitar techs definitely are. And very talented musicians at that. And a lot of people have played in bands in some sort or another. Yeah. And even people you don't even know. Like you'll see people randomly. Like we had, it was my birthday party. We were in Bangkok. This is quite a few years ago, and we were in an Irish bar in Bangkok. For some reason, some reason the Ed tour ends up in Irish bars all the time.
I love that.
We drink Stella and they end up in Irish bars. It's kind of a known thing.
I love it.
So we're in an Irish bar in Bangkok. It's my birthday, and just like 3 of the guys just get up and just play some Chris Stapleton.
Hey!
They just smash out Tennessee Whiskey, and I'm like, come on, what are you talking about? Where did that come from?
Wow. I feel like that's what keeps you in too. Is like just that energy and being able to create, because so many of these roles, like what are you doing during a show? There's so much
Sure.
What are you doing during and what are you doing post?
During the show, usually, if I've done my job right, I'm very like relaxed doing the show.
Cool.
I need to walk. I get a lot of steps in. Walking around the stadium. But as soon as the engineer's happy, and we're a couple of songs in and he's happy, I go for a walk, and I'll try walk as much of the stadium as possible. Try get to Rose Ed. Try do as many levels as I can, as many seats as I can, and check I'm happy with coverage. And as long as I've done my job right and nothing's changed too much between the afternoon, we're usually okay. There'll be some minor tweaks. There's kind of always minor tweaks. There's bits and pieces that I want to improve on. And so much of it comes down to Ed, honestly. So much of it comes down to him on stage.
Interesting.
And how he's so consistent and he delivers so well. But he's always busy and he's always singing.
Yeah.
So he's always on the go. So and he usually knocks it out of the park every single night. But if anything weird is happening that evening, then I need, like, sometimes there'll be tweaks in the PA system based upon that.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. But usually it's minor stuff, as long as everything's been done well beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long is a loadout for this current production?
For this current production, do you know
for
what?
For production then versus steel.
For production versus steel. So steel is usually within 24 hours of the show finishing. Steel are usually out.
Dang.
Yeah, it's quick.
Yeah.
Production in Australia, we're usually getting done around 4 a.m. Show comes, so within 5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you don't have a show the next day.
We don't have a show the next day. But audio, we're done like Glendale, we were done 2 hours after he was off stage.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Audio is it's a good team of people who've been doing it a long time. It's quick.
When's video out?
That's a different story.
Yeah, I was going to say, damn.
There's a lot more of them, but that's a different story.
Okay.
Those guys work hard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who work very hard in our tour, but the video guys, there's a lot of them, and it's a big video screen.
I'm so excited to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, I come to a show. Anyone goes to an Ed show or like a big stadium show. What should I, now that I've listened to this podcast, now that I kind of know all these factors, like what should I be kind of listening for and expecting, or should I just let the show totally take me over? Like, is
this you never seen the show before?
Yeah,
because you've seen it twice already.
I've never seen it.
Kind of just expect the unexpected, I'd say.
Oh,
because and I've brought lots of people to the show over the years, but everybody who's never seen it before just leaves with their jaw on the floor because it's a roller coaster of a show. He's known for quite emotional songs. There are songs that really strike home emotionally for him. There are songs he doesn't like playing because they really mean so much to him that he does play, so you can see him tear up. And he tells the stories of that. He talks about what the songs mean to him and why he wrote them.
Yeah.
So you feel part of it. And that's the thing with him, is it's a roller coaster. It's such a dynamic show. There are like huge moments where he's beating the shit out of a tiny acoustic guitar, and every sub in the room is limited and it's going crazy and it's loud. There are loud. Like, people come to the show and they're surprised by how much sub and low end energy there is. People really get shocked by that, and I'm like, it's Ed Sheeran on an acoustic guitar, but it bangs when it needs to.
Wow.
And it's always been that way. And he's always kind of shocked people in that sense because he's such a diverse artist. It goes from being fast rap lyrics to very slow melodic ballads, and it's kind of everything in between. So it's a roller coaster of a 3-hour show.
That's so sick. I remember like some of his old stuff where it would just be like absolute mayhem, but controlled chaos too. Quiet and just, it's
very, very cool.
So sick.
And the loop pedal thing is such a unique beast.
Yeah.
That like I said, nobody out there is doing it. But he explains it really well now.
Yeah.
There was a show at Glastonbury Festival a long time ago where he got slated for using backing tracks.
No.
Which is why the whole thing, there's an intro that introduces the loop pedal and he talks about it and he does a demo and explains it.
Yeah.
And he's done that ever since. Because it's like, well, no, let me show you what's actually going on here.
How else is it different audio? Like, you guys don't use tracks at all?
Absolutely.
Is there anything else that you guys don't use? Do you use, like, what is the counting in?
A click track?
Yeah. None of that.
No click track. Even when there was a big band on the Mathematics tour.
Yeah.
His thing was no click track, no backing tracks. Everything is live.
Jeez.
Which is really, when you're at that level of, like, you got Taylor, you got The Weeknd, you got Beyonce, you got all these, like, huge artists who are all incredible. But every single one of them is using tracks live.
Yeah.
And it's an expectation to deliver a very like polished pop show now.
Yes.
You have to have it. Even if you have an incredible band, you need beds, you need weight, you need stuff to add to that.
Yes.
He's always been of the mindset is everything is live. And nothing is to be added to that. Which makes like, it makes our job hard, honestly.
It's so hard.
It's like, because there's nothing to hide behind.
Yeah.
But he'll like, you probably saw it at one of the shows. If he messes up, he'll stop.
Yeah.
If he's like, we all know, we're like, oh, the timing's off, or like that one's wrong, or like, there's so many channels on loop pedal. If he starts on a different channel, he'll be the one to go, nope, that's how you know it's live. We're stopping this shit. Cool. We're starting again.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Even after you get the 10,000, 30,000, 50,000 hours that he's got, like way more than that. But that's very different, especially for like, because that affects lighting directors. That affects like every single, that affects the backline. That affects like
everything. Yeah, exactly. You've got these like time-coded shows now.
Yeah, that sucks for you guys. That's
we'll never be a time-coded show. We'll never be a show with tracks. It'll never ever be that show. But that's part of the charm of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is there any band maybe that you love or you admire or something that you would want to work for? Like, is there a type of music or sound that you would have fun with?
Yeah, tons of stuff. Like I've always wanted to do a country tour. I've never done a country tour.
Okay.
I've always wanted to do a country tour. I started listening to country a couple of years ago thinking it was a fad and it was a phase and I could listen to so much different stuff and but I still listen to it today. Like I like so much different, honestly, so much different music. For years I thought, I love Bruno Mars's band. Bruno would be a really, really cool thing to do.
Cool.
And even like Sam Macklemore.
Oh, yeah.
Macabo were really, really cool. But
yeah.
actually, they're supporting us on the back end of this US run.
Oh, sick.
So I'm very excited for those guys to come out and just to kind of see the show. It'll be cool. Yeah.
Who's opening in Nashville?
Nashville, we've got a guy called Miles Smith.
Okay, cool.
Who's very, very good. UK artist, another again, singer-songwriter, very talented. He's definitely worth coming and checking out. We've got an Irish band called Amble, who are also folky and very, very good.
I love Irish music.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it. It's kind of folk Irish. They're great.
Okay, sweet. Is there anything that, I mean, where you are now, I think we've already heard a lot of the lessons that you would give to people kind of starting out.
Yeah.
Or what about if you have advice for people who are on a grueling tour, that you're out for a long time? Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to those people that may be struggling with it?
You've got to find something you've got to find your happiness outside of work. You've got to find something to focus on to keep your mind sane. Whether it's like going to the gym, keeping yourself healthy, whether it's like, I've just taken up golf.
Love it.
Because you can do it anywhere. Yeah. And I'm terrible. Like I suck. But I love being out there and a couple of beers with the boys, and it's like 4 hours in the day, and it's very like I'm enjoying it.
Yep.
So that's like something. Well, and you've got to like, I think for me for ages would be get out of town, get out of a city.
Yeah.
Go on a hike, get in the mountains, and just escape it for a moment, escape the bubble. And that was a reset. Like that would always be a reset for me. That'd be like, oh cool, now I'm good to go back to work.
That's huge.
You've got to find something to focus on outside of the gig.
There's a golf course here in Nashville with sheep all around. Yeah.
That's like playing golf in Wales.
Yeah, I was about to say, but it's like a lot more humid in
there's more sheep
country.
There's more sheep than people in Wales.
I love that. That's so cool. I'll have to find the name of it. I want to do some rapid fire because I didn't even notice the time. What was your first concert that you went to?
First concert I ever went to, a Welsh band called Catatonia.
Okay.
I went to 2 within the same week. I saw Catatonia and Elton John in the same week. And I was 10 years old.
10? Yeah. Okay. What was the first gig you worked? Not as a musician, but as a tech?
Excluding like the pub stuff that I was doing.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of how I got into it. What was the very, very first one? I think it was a British comedian called Bill Bailey.
Cool.
Who's very well known in the UK, been doing it a very long time, hilarious. But that was through the company called Sonolist. And they do a lot of the touring comedy, arena comedy in the UK.
There's Russell Brand too.
Russell Brand, Bill Bailey used to like people like John Bishop, and they do lots of that kind of stuff.
Cool, that's fun. What's your favorite venue to work and be a part of?
Favorite venue to work and be a part of? That would imply one we've been to multiple times. I don't know. A really good one in the UK for me is Hammersmith Apollo.
Okay.
It's quite infamous. It's a rock and roll venue. That's still a rock and roll venue. Everyone goes through there. It's just got nostalgia to it. And it's just one of those things that like there's a pub around the corner from stage door that you will generally go straight into after a sound check.
Oh, fun.
It's just like there's just memories and nostalgia there. So those and I've got lots of those in the UK. Like the Royal Albert Hall is a cool one to do. It's a pain in the ass to work in for so many reasons, but it's got nostalgia and it's iconic. Cool. So there are cool things like that. Like those are the cool ones.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What do you wear these shoes? Like when you're walking all these millions of steps, like
literally these exact shoes.
Really?
Yeah.
So Vans are comfortable for you to walk
They're
in?
flat as hell, but
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I was going to ask
if I'm loading in, I'm wearing like something way more comfortable, or my steel toe cap shoes, or trail runners, just because it's easier to get around the venue. I'm not walking the stadium stairs in steel toe cap shoes.
Oh, okay,
but I'll put my trail runners on and we'll get upstairs easier. But once we're in like gig mode,
yes,
the Vans go.
The Vans, all right, and it's a vibe.
Yeah.
What is a tool or like something? Again, if you're packing for like 2 weeks for the year, basically, what is something you cannot tour without, other than your laptop? Just something that you're like, I can't forget.
I shouldn't say this on the podcast, but I have a Fire Stick with like everything I would ever want to watch on.
Oh, that's fun.
But it's also got like every live TV channel from anywhere in the world.
So this is illegal.
That's what I wasn't going to say on the podcast. But yeah.
You need that.
And there's a couple of guys on the tour who got them. Yeah. It's like I'm a big hockey guy, so we just watched the Stanley Cup finals. But
nice.
I was watching that from my hotel room every night.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
But all the World Cup football, like every TV channel from everywhere in the world, every series you would ever want to watch, all straight into the hotel room TV.
That's baller.
So that comes everywhere.
We're not cutting that. That's
and
cool.
And the coffee machine that lives in the toolbox. Those are the two things.
That's it. Okay. Copy that.
There we go.
What is the best piece of advice that you've received that you still remember and that kind of keeps you going and maybe you would give to your younger self or to someone else?
Slow down. Like genuinely slow down, because I used to, and I made mistakes early on by rushing and not thinking and not going through the process.
Got it.
Things like stupid things like turn up to the venue and meter the feeder before you plug it in. Like things like that.
Yeah.
That live rent free in your brain when you make a mistake. And yeah, it's just slow down.
Slow down.
Let yourself learn. Everything's a learning opportunity. And just, although sometimes we're on a time crunch and sometimes you've got to get the PA in the air and the truck turned up late and that we didn't get the points till 2 in the afternoon or whatever it is, like, slow down.
Cool.
Like, I hate PA guys whose main objective is to get the PA, especially loadout, get it on the floor as quickly as possible. I'm like, get it on the floor as safely as possible. Like, I don't care if we're out here 10 minutes later, 20 minutes later, because your PA came down a bit slower. Let's just be safe getting out.
You had to learn that the hard way.
I've made mistakes.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, this flew by for me. This is so cool and answered so many questions that I just have had when I'm seeing shows. So thank you for doing this.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Blessing to be able to finally meet you in person.
I know, it's been a minute, eh?
Be in the States and take a break for a second. Well, you're not taking a break, but I'm excited to go to the show in a couple days. And good luck with the rest of this year.
Thank you so much.
And hey, if there's a country tour someone in the future.
You let me know.
Hey,
you let me know.
I will.
I'm down.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Adam.
Thanks, Nick.